Hey everyone, Mark Stephen Pooler here, the Global Profile Builder. Today I am joined by an incredible guest, Dawn Bates. Dawn is an author, strategist, and publisher. So I'm really looking forward to a conversation with Dawn. I'm going to bring her straight into the broadcast so we can have a conversation. Hey Dawn, I'm happy that we're finally on live with a few technical
Just a few.
difficulties. So
Yeah,
today I'm having a conversation with you to announce you as the new columnist to MSP News Global. So I'm really excited to talk about your new column. But
thank you.
before we go into that, can you share a little bit about yourself and your business?
Oof. Well, I've been running my own businesses for the last 23 years, and they've all been in one guise of publishing, whether that has been, media, such as CDs, DVDs, websites, newspapers, magazines, and now I publish books, my own as well as other people. So I bring a huge amount of experience and expertise to what I do. But I'm currently sailing around the world. Obviously, I'm not on a boat at the moment, but yeah, I'm sailing around the world writing books and coaching my clients completely location free and online. So yeah, and I love giggling.
So tell the audience where in the world you are right now, Dawn.
Currently, I'm in Brazil. I've been here for a couple of months. I was quarantined in Argentina in total isolation for 9 months before that. But yeah, so I started in New Zealand and I've made my way all the way here over a 3 year period. So.
And you have the nickname of Ms. Mermaid. Can you share what this is all about?
I do. Well, when I was younger, and I would be swimming in the pool, I used to just do lengths, maybe with a 25-meter pool with maybe one or two breaths, and the nickname mermaid or dolphin kind of stuck. Um, and then when I set off on this adventure, a friend of mine was like, "Oh, check you out, Miss Mermaid," and yeah, so it kind of, and then because I'm writing a series of books called The Mermaid's Guides. Um, it's kind of mermaid thing stuck, but I'm more of a Banksy mermaid rather than a Disney mermaid. There is absolutely nothing Disney about me, to be honest. So yeah, that's
So,
where Miss Mermaid came from.
and I have seen your work, Dawn, with your clients, and it is real quality,
Thank
beautiful
you.
covers, real great content, which obviously that's because you're doing it, you're working on that for your
Mm,
clients, and you have a real eye for quality and
hmm
great content.
mm.
So what kind of clients do you typically work with?
I tend to work with people that want to give a voice to something really important. People that have already achieved success, people who want to take that success to the next level, people who are willing to invest in themselves and the purpose. So if people just want to write a book and this is not to be dismissive of people who write business books, but in today's age, it's not enough to just go, oh, I want to be an international bestseller or I just want to write a book. The books that I work with people on, they're deep. I mean, they are really deep and they are life altering. It's a healing journey that I take my clients on. Um, and it's not enough for them to play small. There's no room for imposter syndrome. When you work with me, you go big and you go bigger and you go bigger than you could ever have imagined. And it is life altering work. My work is very potent. The work that I get my clients to do is it can be really challenging. I do have some of my clients tell me in the most loving of ways that they hate me, but they love me all at the same time. And they get nervous about getting on a call with me because they know they've got to do work and they know they've got to take themselves on. But unless we're willing to be the absolute best version of ourselves and actually make a difference to humanity and create a really powerful legacy, then I don't want to work with those. I don't want to work with anybody that wants less than that. It's not enough. It's not about us. It's about humanity, and it's about making a powerful difference. And one of the reasons why we go through a lot of this success, and one of the reasons why choose to work with these people, is because we can leverage our success, so we can leverage our own life, and we can leverage a legacy for future generations to come.
And you said that yourself, making a difference, and that is one big thing that I notice about all of your work, Dawn.
Yeah,
It's always coming from a place of making a difference, making an
absolutely.
impact, and that really stands out. But like I mentioned as well, graphics, the covers are top quality as
Yeah, I only
well.
hire the best.
So that is a compliment from me.
Thank,
It's very, very noticeable, and I
thank
really
you.
admire the work that you're doing. Now, the Sacral series, I have also been working with you a little bit on this as well to get it out to the world. Tell us all about that.
The Sacral series, and I apologise for the background noise there to everybody. The Sacral series is a series of 9 books where we're looking at the systemic abuse and failure within systems, but also looking at different healing modalities. So we're looking at how we can step people away from being dependent on big pharma. And they are 9 real life stories, but they're encompassing a lot of the work that I've done over the last 22 years. So a lot of the community cohesion, looking at the cultural diversity work, and actually to protect the people who's shared their story with me. What I've done is I've looked at different cultural aspects around the world and gone, okay, where is this also in existence? Where is this situation that this person has found themselves in? Where else is this happening? And then I've given my client a different identity to protect their identity. So, for example, with Layla, although I am using an identity of a Torres Strait Islander, Layla herself, which is not obviously her name, Layla herself was not from the Torres Strait indigenous community. But what we're actually doing is highlighting the fact that Layla used art therapy to heal herself from what she went through in her childhood. And then as each book goes through, as we go through each book in the series, we're looking at the different aspects. So we'll be looking at the social care system, we'll be looking at faith groups, we'll be looking at the prison service and the police and justice system, and looking at the corruption and the systemic failure that's going on inside of these systems, and looking at how as a community we are failing each other. But also these are the opportunities, these are the solutions, these are the alternative ways of being. Because until we talk about some of these subjects and until we actually address them, they're actually still going to get swept under the carpet. And as with all of us know, that if you sweep something under the carpet like glass, the broken glass is eventually going to come through the carpet and cut your feet every time you walk on it. And that is what we're seeing happening. So we're looking at different elements of abuse. We're looking at shame and guilt, and we're actually looking at healing the generational patterns that a lot of us are living by and experiencing. And it's about cutting those ties and actually moving forward and healing ourselves, as well as healing our families, our communities, and our planet.
And this is exactly why I wanted you as a columnist on MSP News Global, because you're going to bring all this juice to the platform. But I feel this is really relevant, the Sacral series, with what we're going through right now at this present moment. We're in a pandemic. I mean, we're in a second lockdown here in the UK. I'm not quite sure how it is in Brazil where you are at the moment. But these issues, especially abuse, they thrive in the pandemic.
Yeah, they do.
and it's a time where people do really suffer, especially if they're in the home with people who are abusive and they're locked up. So it is really, really relevant to making that difference through these times of the pandemic as well. How can people check this out, Dawn?
Well, they can go to my website, all the books, as and when they're released. Moana is already out. Layla is being written this week, and she will be available for pre-order on the 11th because, as you know, and as some of those that are aware of me, I do tend to write a game-changing book in less than a week. Because I just get into complete and total flow, I just lock myself away and I just purge from a space of unconscious, conscious creation. So people can follow me on the podcast series, the Sacred Series podcast, which is across Spotify, Anchor, Podbean, and all of the others. They can actually go to the website, dawnbates.com, and they can look at all the books there. The books are both paperback and ebook. They were going to be on audiobook, but obviously with the lockdown, I wanted to make sure that we'd got the first trilogy absolutely nailed, which is the trilogy of life itself, before I actually then went and recorded it. But then obviously with the lockdown situation in Argentina, which was apparently one of the worst in the world. And I was like, well, I don't know. I just got on with the work I've got to get done. But again, I think this is the other thing that we're addressing with a lot of the work that I do and a lot of the work that I do with my clients, not just the books that I write, but it's about how you deal with things that happen for you. You know, we can actually look at this pandemic as something that is a bad thing, or we can actually use it as something that, okay, where can I take control of my life? Where have I been giving away my control? Where have I been giving away my power? And looking at the systemic abuse that's been going on in a lot of different countries. Now, as you know, I am quite political. I am a geek. I do like to go down the rabbit hole with Alice and the caterpillar and have tea on a regular basis. And having a virtual private network actually opens up a huge minefield that a lot of people are not aware of. When we have a virtual private network and we change our location, we can actually see how the government and social media platforms are manipulating the messaging and the information that we get. And I really invite people to actually invest in a VPN and then do Google searches, and then do maybe a Microsoft search, or then use a different search platform to actually search for the same information, but go on a journey around the world in different continents, different political systems, because the information that you will be receiving, I mean, we know that if you go to Fox News or the BBC or Al Jazeera, you will get a very different style of reporting. You will get very different facts for the same information. It's no different with the VPN, and it's a lot more powerful.
That is actually really, really interesting, Dawn, seeing it from different countries, the same news, and how it's reported differently. It is quite sad that we don't always get the real story, and it is quite
it's a manipulation.
It is quite sad that we're not getting truth. So I think it's really important now more than ever, as this pandemic has really woken people up as well. Hopefully more people will wake up to be more conscious and look for the truth in things, do research, not listen to everything that you see on the news, etc., etc. Be well informed by your own research and make your own choices. But I think it's important that people do wake up a little bit, because not everything we see is the truth. Would you agree with me?
Absolutely, I would agree. And I think people have to learn to trust themselves a lot more. People have to learn to trust that they can have the answers, because at the moment we're being told that we don't know enough. We're being told that, you know, you leave it to us, we know what we're talking about. But people have intuition, and if you don't have intuition, start eating a lot cleaner, and tapping into it, because we're told that we don't know, but we do know. If we can find out how to twerk on TikTok and how to do all of this social media stuff, we can learn about the things that are really important. And the thing is, it's like, this is an abuse of power. Our education systems have been corrupted. I've been a school governor. One of the reasons why I became a school governor was so that I could understand what was going on at the national level and what was being fed through to our school teachers, and how they're teaching our children. And it was fascinating. And the thing is, it's like we have the ability to do the research, but we've been told that we're not smart enough, that we aren't good enough. But we are, and we have to learn to do the research ourselves, to ask better questions, see the commonalities, see the differences, and understand why are these differences there, and then actually explore that. Because the thing is, it's like people like myself who do explore it, that do ask the questions and do go against the common narrative. We're then called a conspiracy theorist. But in fact, actually, every conspiracy theory that I've actually been accused of, 5, 10, 15 years later, it actually becomes fact. And people are like, oh, I really shouldn't listen to you. And this is why people that have been in my space for 20, 30 years are actually going, oh, okay, she actually does know what she's talking about. And if I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm prepared to do the research, and I'm prepared to admit that I'm wrong, because ego doesn't have a space in truth. When we step into truth, whether that's our own personal truth when we're writing a biography or having a biography written about us, when we stand in our truth and we speak our truth and we come from a pure place of actually serving humanity rather than getting something over on someone else or actually being better than someone else or having control over someone else, then it's a much more powerful space to be. And we have to remember that the only reason why people want to control us, or we want to control a situation, is because we're actually afraid of that situation, or we're afraid of the numbers. The governments only want to control us because they're afraid of the amount of people that can actually rise up against them. And I know that this is something that Miss Jenny P and I were discussing. You know, you only control a fire because you're afraid it will spread. You're only afraid of a narrative because you're afraid it actually will wake people up even more. And you're only afraid of your own truth because it's actually something that can accelerate you forward. And you're afraid of your own success because what happens if you become really successful? You will lose friends, because there are a lot of people that are actually only happy being in your space because it actually gives them the excuse of not being the best that they can be. And people who don't like it when you step up in your power actually are the ones that benefit from you being weak. And it's about removing that, removing those blockages, and removing those things that actually stop us from being the very best version of self. And again, that is what the work is that I do. And that's why the authors that come and publish with me and work with me, like the people that are joining me for my 7-month mastermind, these people, they will be the people that are willing to step in their power and stand above the parapet and say, you know what, this is what I stand for. This is who I serve. I am ready to lead other leaders, and we are going to make a huge difference in this world. And we're going to strive, and we're going to be the best version of ourselves for humanity and the years, generations to come.
Yes, I agree with all of that. All of it. And
but
we
even if
are
you
being
didn't, wouldn't it be a juicy conversation to have?
we are being controlled. I mean, censorship has gone crazy at the moment, especially all through this year from March when the pandemic happened. Now, I know some people may spread fake news or dangerous news, what can be dangerous. But I think we need to be careful with censorship, because we should all be allowed to speak our truth. So
Absolutely.
I really agree with everything you just said there. Everyone watching, please, if you have a question for Dawn, type it in the comment section. She will come back, answer any questions. Feel free to share the broadcast so that we can get this to as many people as possible. Dawn, I'm going to take a short 50-second commercial, and then we will come straight back. We will talk about your 7-month authority mastermind. We will also talk about your column and carry on this juicy conversation.
Okay.
with the amazing Dawn Bates, author, strategist, and publisher, and new columnist to MSP News Global. Now, in your conversation earlier, you did mention you can get a book together within 7 days and it's a phenomenal book, world class. Tell us what that process looks like for the client.
Oh, well, it depends on the client. I've been writing for a very long time, and unless writing is a skill that you have harnessed, um, the depths of the knowledge. I mean, again, this is 22 years worth of experience that goes into a lot of these books. Or, for example, when I wrote Wallahi, the first book that I wrote in 7 days, I knew exactly what I wanted to say. I knew exactly how the book was going to do, and it was from idea to conception. From idea to international bestseller on 3 continents took 14 days, because there had been a build-up. You know, I'm frustrated with this. This needs to be done. And I'd lived the Egyptian uprising, so I needed to make sure that it was. You know, I was just fed up with hearing all the lies about it. So I went I just went dive deep. I closed myself off. I didn't have anybody interrupt me, and I just sat there and I wrote 77,000 words in 7 days. And this is the thing, when we know what our story is, and when we stop thinking about it and we just get into that space and we just sit our backsides down and do the work, and when we trust ourselves that we've got this, we can purge a book in no time at all. Moana, I wrote that book in 6 days. I am about to write Layla in 5 days. And it's almost like, hey, Dawn, you're setting the bar a bit too high for yourself here. But I know that these stories are deep in me. And this is why when we write an autobiographical book, that actually is a game changer for humanity, not just for our business performance. International people want an international bestseller, and so their focus is wrong. When you remove that and you go, this is why I want to write the book. This is why this book is important. And it's that power that we harness when we do a book in 6-7 days. And then I get my clients to that. And that's when they're able to write it in no time at all.
We have Janetta Collier, who is a good friend of mine, who's saying good day. So true. So 7 days, that is quite life-changing, really, because people talk themselves out of getting published, doing a book, because they think the process is going to be a long process. Some people 12 months, some people even longer than that. So you really can take that process down and get a real world-class book out in a much quicker time.
I can, but it would depend on the book. Like Crossing the Line took me 3 years because I was studying the law. I was studying human rights law, criminal law, and family law. And I had 2 court cases that I had to deal with to enable that book to come to fruition. It's like the Mermaid's Guide series that I mentioned earlier, the Mermaid's Guide to Hitchhiking. That's not going to be published until I get to the States, because it's that 3-year journey. So depending on what the story is, depending on what the subject is, will depend on. So, for example, with an autobiography, it's like, which element of your life are we writing about? Which element are we actually focusing on? If it's something that's already been achieved, then we can just do it straight away. If it's like the Crossing the Line, or it's like the Mermaid series, that's going to take longer. I've had these 9 stories for the Sacral series for quite some time. And I actually didn't realize that they were going to be a series of books until recently. And now they've all just dropped in. And now it's like, okay, each book is going to be coming out 3 months apart, with a podcast to go with each book, which is then separated over 6 podcast episodes. So again, it really does depend on the book.
That's pretty good going, Dawn. I mean, that is a big achievement bringing those books out 3 months apart.
But it's
Congratulations
doable.
on that.
Thank you. It's more than doable. People are stuck in the old traditional publishing models, and they're stuck because they've been programmed for so long to be told that it takes a year, 10 years, and it takes a long period of time. But with a lot of the processes that people go through, the traditional publishing route is still keeping people small because they're not sharing the important information that people need to get their book out there.
And you mentioned it a little bit earlier, your 7 month author mastermind. In brief, share a little bit about that and who exactly would benefit from it, Dawn.
Okay, so as we said, it's 7 months long, and each month we'll have a 4 week rotation. So we'll work through the workbook in week one. We'll then jump on a training, and then it'll be a Q&A session in week 3, and then week 4 is really harnessing everything we've done in the first 3 weeks and getting the work done. I mean, obviously they'll be doing it throughout, but we'll be looking at the different types of leadership modalities. And when I say that, we're looking, I mean, I'm a geek. I've been studying leadership for 22 years. So a lot of that is coming in. We're going to be looking at where these different aspects are actually embedded in our life and what it is that we want to change about our life. We're going to be looking at brand expansion. We're going to be looking at the writing process. We're going to be looking at the environment in which we're in. And it is really about looking at each individual area of our life and actually elevating all of that. So it is a 7 month intensive course. And I've got some really wonderful guest trainers joining me. And so that's very exciting. So it is a very deep dive course. It is not something that can be done in a short period of time. And at the end of it, we will be publishing the book that comes out of the end of it. And it's for people, like I said, that are already successful. These people are in a state of leadership already, but they just want to take it to the very next level, where they're actually leading other leaders to greatness. So someone said, so basically we're going on a healing journey. We're studying leadership. We're going through brand expansion. We're going to be looking at product spectrums. We're going to be looking at business blueprints. We're going to be looking at how they're actually projecting their story out there and what models that they're actually using and what's working and what's in alignment and what's not. So it is a very juicy course, but hey, I made it. So why would it not be?
It sounds amazing, and I'm sure there'll be people out there that would really, really benefit from doing something like that. So
they will, but it's whether they've actually got the clout to be able to do it. Like I said, it's not for everybody. This is a very deep dive course, and they've got to be committed to it.
So for those that are committed, ready, and the fit is right, go to dawnbates.com. Now, Dawn, I am really looking forward to what you bring to MSP News Global as a columnist. What have we got to look forward to? What are you going to bring to the platform?
Well, I'm going to be calling a lot of stuff forward. I don't like excuses, so I will be dismissing a lot of those. I will be looking at, my next one is all about social media and how we represent ourselves on there, and some of the fake. So I'll be addressing quite a bit of stuff. I know that it's not a political platform, but it is, again, there will be some molecule shaking truths on there, and there will be some real juice and some mind bending going on. So it's all good fun.
I am super, super excited to see what you're bringing every month to MSP News Global. We have another comment here from Janetta Collier saying, great topic. Thank you so much, Janetta, from taking time out of your day to be with us today. And I look forward to connecting with you soon, Janetta. I have really enjoyed a conversation with you today, Dawn. Our interview nearly didn't happen today.
I know, I'm actually looking at the time now because I've got a handover in 2 minutes. So I'm like, oh my God. But yeah, tech issues, and I'm borrowing someone else's laptop at the moment, so I'm just like, oh my god.
Well, what a great way to finish the conversation with
Mm,
how you are going to be bringing great value to MSP News Global.
thank you.
I'm really looking forward to having
Me
you as a
too.
columnist. Dawn has already submitted her first column, and it's called Industry Revolution. So go to mspnewsglobal.com to check out Dawn's first column to the platform. Dawn, thank you for a
Thank you.
conversation today. I
No,
know
thank
that
you
you
so
have to
much.
rush off. I've
Yeah, I
really
do.
enjoyed a conversation with you.
Thank you so much, Mark, and I'm looking forward to working with you a lot more.
Thank you, Dawn, and thank
You're
you
welcome.
everyone for watching. Until next time, bye for now, and we
Ciao,
will
ciao.
see you very, very soon. Bye, everyone.
Ciao.